Pictures are ready. Just pick them up.
Good. Thanks. I'll put them on tape at lunchtime. Can you stay?
Oh, sure. I've got everything arranged. I just have to write one quick memo, and I'll be back in a half hour.
Good. That sounds great.
What's the matter? I thought you were all going to be brainstorming words. You know, you're writing, Norm's, Jenny's, Cassie. Cassie?
Cassie's not writing.
Well, good morning to you too, Cassie. I didn't think you were speaking today.
Well, I will just slip out, and I'll be back.
I've just had it with this.
What's this?
This is my advanced English literature class. I don't know what this professor wants. I just can't figure him out. I may just drop this course.
Oh, Cassie, you don't mean that.
No, I don't. But Gwen, I've been working with you pros for a long time now, and I'm still making B's on my essay papers at school. I'm so frustrated.
Because you can't make the grade.
No, because I don't know why I'm not making the grade. I have tried everything, and nothing works. I mean, I work hard enough.
Well, what does your professor say?
Well, he always says the same thing. He circles a word in red and says, be specific or too vague. Look. Here, he says that my sentence structure is improved. And that was the week we did the 2 shows on sentences. But it also says to be more specific. Now, the week we did the work on the paragraphs, he underlined a topic sentence and said, good. But by the end of the essay, he wrote, too abstract. I give up.
Oh, Cassie, you don't mean that either. Your professor's comments seem to be all about levels of meaning. He might want you to be more specific, concrete.
But I thought I was.
Well, maybe you were on the 2 larger units of meaning, paragraphs and sentences. What's the smallest meaning?
Words, Cassie. Words.
Right. Words. Hey, last week I copied an article about connotation for Jenny. Don't we get to that soon in this series?
Mm-hmm. It's today. This script on words and their meanings will fit right into the revision sequence.
First there's the big chunks, paragraphs, then the medium-sized units, sentences, and then the specifics, words.
But I don't get the point because I'm always clear with my words, and if I'm doubtful on anything, I look it up in the dictionary to be sure of meaning and spelling. And I have never had a criticism about my grammar.
Well, I don't think your professor is asking only for correctness.
Correctness?
No, it's a common misconception that students have about their teachers, Cassie. Correctness matters, of course, but have you seen the Finnegan interview?
No. Should I?
Yes, I think so. I believe it's still in the machine. I think you'll recognize some of the problems he mentions.
I had been one of those exceptions who got straight A's or nearly straight A's on my freshman compositions. No corrections and so on. I just got them back in straight A's. I didn't learn a lot from them. Whatever I brought into the course, I brought out with me. But when I got to graduate school and took a course in Milton and wrote my first paper, which I'm sure was reasonably, perhaps totally, in conformity with the rules of grammar that we find in handbooks of usage, I got it back from the instructor a couple days later, and he said, I cannot figure out from beginning to end what you're trying to say. So there's a case where, despite rigid adherence to the rules of grammar, and also to the preferences of people who write usage handbooks, since there were no corrections on the paper again, I had utterly failed to communicate. So there's a case where you can use the rules of grammar and follow anybody's, the highest preferences for usage of the real sticklers, and fail to communicate.
So as important as grammar and spelling are, they're not enough.
Right. Just because your writing is correct doesn't necessarily mean it's vivid and interesting. Some of the dullest writing in the world is technically correct.
Yeah, but it gets so discouraging to work like this. I know writing ought to be more fun.
Oh, don't give up, Cassie. Writing is fun. But it's more than just a game, but even in a game, you have to develop some skill before it becomes fun.
I know you're right. Well, maybe I can regain my confidence by getting back to work. Why don't I go see what's keeping Kurt?
That's a good idea. Tell him we're ready to begin.
Gwen, looks like you've loaded up this script with an awful lot of material. I mean, it's enough just handling words and meanings. Now you're adding two more major elements.
What do you mean, two more major elements?
I mean Cassie and Kurt.
What about them?
Look, we have just so many hours to write this script. Now you have us helping Cassie with her essay, and Kurt's been out of school for a long time.
Oh, can't you see that Cassie and Kurt are models for our script? Now, Cassie is in the same position as many of our students are in, and Kurt, well, he has to use the right word as part of his job.
I don't know. We have a lot to cover as it is. The differences between connotative and denotative meaning, between general and specific.
Between abstract and concrete.
Yes, we have a lot of information to cover in this script.
Yeah, so?
So, if we can show Cassie and Kurt how attention to words makes the extra difference in college and business, well, then we won't have strayed too far off the mark.
Yeah, but that's a pretty big if.
Nah, just a little bit of heaven.
Well, according to this, Kurt, the dictionary says that a donut is a small, ring-shaped cake of light dough fried in deep fat.
Ring-shaped dough fried in deep fat? How can you talk like that? Donuts are an emotional experience.
Well, they may be a little bit of heaven to you, but to me they're an extra pound on the scale the next morning. But they're a small, ring-shaped cake to everyone. Hey, this is exactly what I've been working on the last couple of days. Connotative and denotative meanings.
Go on, Jenny.
Well, the denotative meaning is the dictionary meaning. That's the meaning of a word without any emotional association.
Yeah, word choices that you might make if you were an unbiased reporter or a scientist.
Yeah, exactly. The point is, many words also have connotations. That's meanings that extend the dictionary meaning, but all words have a denotative meaning.
Yeah, well, I hear a few of those every day, but you won't find them in that book.
Kurt, you're right. Dictionaries like this take only the more stable words, the words of standard English, mostly words appropriate for college and business writing.
Well, I don't get your point. All right, all words have a dictionary meaning, but that's not the same meaning they necessarily have in the real world of work and sales.
Wait a minute, Kurt. You're right. When we worked at the ad agency in New York, we used to use an awful lot of connotative meanings. It was an attempt to choose words that a prospective customer could easily associate with and at the same time give a very clear picture of the product. Something like this. Try our Texas-style chili or our flame-kissed hamburgers. But if someone said, here, try this strange new taste treat, you probably pass because you have no idea what it is.
Yeah, you know, when I was a kid, my mother could make spinach sound like a French souffle. To hear her talk, it was light and fluffy, and it tasted delicious, when actually it was green and mushy. I could eat her connotative spinach. What I couldn't stand was her denotative spinach.
Cassie, you're awfully quiet.
Well, it's beginning to dawn on me. Maybe what my professor meant by be specific is that I should use only the strict denotative meanings.
Well, that sounds pretty safe to me.
Safe? Now, it's a mistake to think that Cassie should be looking for something safe to try. You learn writing by taking risks, making commitments, even by being playful. But safe? Safe is almost always dull. Safe is what gets you the C's and the B's.
Yeah, but what gets you the A's?
The little extra time it takes to choose the right word.
Gwen, I thought you were going to show us a slideshow.
Well, I am, but first I'm a little bit concerned about giving Cassie the wrong impression that the only reason to pay attention to words is for a grade.
Yeah, I'd prefer the impression that the reason is to get a promotion.
Well, as I was putting my slideshow together to demonstrate the connotative meanings of words, I remembered this interview with the poet John Ciardi.
It's impossible not to weigh in the associations if you're going to use language with any degree of quality. If I point to a politician and I say the Honorable J.J. McGinnis, that's an honorific label, isn't it? I could point to the same man and say that conniving, grafting rat. I point to the same thing. The denotation is the same thing, but I've released a very different connotation. And yet, in advertising, for example, We like German names for beer and French names for perfumes. That's by association. I don't think you'd have much luck in selling an expensive perfume to girls if you called it Schultz No. 3. And I don't think you'd have much luck in a bar room selling Paris Soir beer.
That should work very well in the program. Charlie made a very important point, that connotation is not just a matter for poets.
Or just a subject for English classes.
You can't get more real world than politics and advertising.
As the sun sets in the west, we leave the ivory tower for the School of Hard Knocks.
Oh, I couldn't have given my slideshow a better introduction, Kurt.
Wow, that's a lot of sales messages in a hurry.
And they all work. I'm hungry, I'm thirsty, and I want to buy a car.
You know, Americans are bombarded by hundreds of sales messages daily. I mean, you got billboards, radio and TV, posters and bumper stickers, bus signs.
Ah, enough. I feel like I'm drowning.
Connotations appeal to the emotions.
Yeah, pleasant associations persuade people to buy what they imagine. So connotations are good feelings words give a reader.
Well, not exactly.
Not exactly.
Well, not all connotations are positive. Some are negative. Remember what Charlie said about politicians, freeloaders, or conniving, or shifty?
Or artificial, or childish.
Positive and negative connotations. Isn't there anything in between?
Well, yes, some words are neutral. Those are words you'd use if you wrote an objective paper or a scientific report.
Say, you want to play a game?
I'm game.
Well, I thought you were all hot under the collar to finish this script.
I am, Cassie. This is a game that Patrick Hartwell uses to teach about positive, negative, and neutral connotations. It's called the I'm a You're a He's a game. Watch, I'll show you how it works. I'm an Einstein. You're intelligent. She's a bookworm. You want to play?
Sure. I'm economical. You're thrifty. And he's cheap.
Oh, come on, Cassie. Look, here's one for you. I'm concerned. You're worried. But she's a nervous wreck.
Okay, I'm rare, you're unique, and he's in danger.
Yeah, I like this game. See, I'm a marketing executive. You're a saleswoman. She's a peddler, which is exactly what I'm going to be if I don't get back to my office. See you later.
Of course, it's a big help to know the difference between denotative and connotative meanings.
Mm-hmm. Well?
You still haven't told me what be more specific means.
I will. I've been working on a piece that shows the steps between general and specific. And I want to know what you think of it, especially you, Cassie. Is that all right, Gwen?
It's fine. There we are.
From the general class of creative people to the specific creative person, Neil Simon, there are many steps. Steps from the general to the specific. From the class to the individual member of a class. The class of creative people is made up of artists and scientists and many others. Authors and painters are artists. Among authors, there are novelists, essayists, and dramatists, and many others. More specifically, dramatists include film writers, TV writers, and playwrights. And Neil Simon has demonstrated beyond doubt that he is indeed a playwright. Plaza Suite and Barefoot in the Park were certainly written by a creative person and an artist, and also by an author and a dramatist. But they were specifically written by the playwright Neil Simon. Until beginning writers are aware of these steps from the general to the specific, from the class to the individual member of a class, they are unlikely to produce words specifically worth reading. That's it. What do you think?
Well, if I understand what you're saying, they're not just two choices, general and specific. It's a matter of degree. But I'm still not sure I know how to apply it to these essays.
Well, let's look at a specific example. Why don't you find one for us?
Okay, let's see. All right, here's one. This is an essay about modern poetry. I wrote, modern poetry may not always possess traditional rhyme and meter, but these are replaced by many other devices. My professor circled devices and said, be more specific.
Okay. Well, let's work through this one.
Did you go on to define these devices that replace rhyme and meter?
No, not really. See, my next sentence deals with a poem by William Carlos Williams.
See, devices is too general, Cassie. You could have meant that rhyme and meter were replaced by an electric can opener. Now, could you be more specific about devices?
Well, you know that I meant literary devices.
If you would have said so, you would have been more specific.
What Norman means is that devices is such an umbrella-level generality. It covers so much. If you'd gone one step down the ladder to being more specific, you might have said literary devices.
Just the way it led me to say electric devices, specifically can openers.
Well, isn't that just one step on the ladder? Literary devices still sounds pretty general to me.
Yes, it is a general category, and its members are metaphor, repetition, reversal. I think Cassie might have meant repetition.
Yeah, sort of. But
what, Cassie?
But I think I meant something a little bit more specific than that.
An example, if you please.
Well, there are certain kinds of repetition that poets use who aren't doing traditional types of rhyme and meter. For instance, repeated images, keywords, speech rhythms. So these can all give a poem a sense of movement.
Or an essay. Now, that's very good, Cassie. Why don't you rewrite your sentence?
Okay. Let's see. I'll write it over here. That's really bad. Okay, that's it. Okay. Although the poems of William Carlos Williams do not always feature traditional rhyme and meter, they imitate fluidity of motion with repeated images and the rhythm of natural speech.
Oh, that's not bad. Now, maybe we can get back to working.
What do you think, Cassie?
Well, I think I said what I meant. Specifically what I meant. Now, if I just knew specifically what he meant when he said too abstract.
Oh, come on, Cassie. This is so simple, and we've got a script to put together today. You ought to be able to guess what too abstract means by now.
Well, I may know what he means now. Maybe, too abstract is pretty much the same thing as too general?
Close, but not quite. Okay, I will tell you exactly what
Hold on, Norm. That's not a bad guess, Cassie. Abstract and general are related. For example, transportation is abstract, but vehicles is concrete. Vehicles is also general, but white Thunderbird convertible is specific.
So it would be more specific if I said, I brought the groceries home in a white Thunderbird convertible rather than I brought the groceries home in vehicular transportation.
Yes, it would.
Jenny, I don't think we should confuse anyone with too many technical terms. I can't help but feeling it's a better philosophy for this show.
That's the word. That's the word he circled. And you're such an expert.
What are you talking about?
Philosophy. Philosophy is the word my professor called too abstract.
No, look, I meant what I meant.
Wait a second, before this gets too complicated. Cassie will read your sentence in a second. Now, abstract and general are each at the top of their own ladder. One ladder goes from concrete to abstract, the other goes from specific to general.
I see.
Philosophy is an abstract concept, one that we can know only intellectually and not through our senses.
Now, that's clearer. There are lots of words like that.
Oh, yes, thousands. There is misery and loyalty and affection and tolerance.
Humor, tragedy.
How about democracy and socialism?
And philosophy.
Okay, now I'm guessing, but concrete words are words that we could know through our senses and not just through our minds.
Oh, your guesses are getting better and better.
They sure are. A concrete word refers to an object, a living thing, an activity, something that we can know through our senses, like tree or kitten.
Blue, shoes.
Or tears or laughter.
But not philosophy.
No, not philosophy. But in my own defense, allow me to point out that you did make the word devices more specific by changing it to repetition. But the word repetition is still abstract.
Is that bad?
Oh, no, it's not bad. Sometimes you have to use an abstraction when you're talking about a theory.
Poetic theory is a complex subject, so you can expect an abstract word.
Why don't you read us your sentence now?
Oh, okay. Let's see. Cardinal John Henry Newman's most important writing emerged from his own philosophy as a convert.
Sounds rather academic.
Yeah, I guess I was trying too hard to sound scholarly, and what I really meant was, let's see here, that Cardinal Newman's conversion from Protestantism to the Roman Catholic Church really influenced his writing.
We have another example for the show. Couldn't we generate a ladder of abstraction with something like ethical philosophies at the top?
Oh, yes, we could put ethical philosophies at the very top level, and then we could get more concrete by moving to religion, Christianity, Catholicism.
I see now. I can even get a little bit more specific. How about the Roman Catholic Church?
She's got it.
Now, Cassie, can you revise that sentence and choose more concrete words?
You bet I can. Let's see here. Okay. How about this? Okay. Cardinal John Henry Newman's most influential writing emerged as a defense for his conversion to Roman Catholicism.
Well, she really does have it.
Thank you. And now I feel more confident about using the right words.
And I think we should call this a very productive day. It's 5 o'clock. Now, tomorrow morning, all we have to do is put the right word on paper.
Finally. Good morning, everyone. Hi, Kurt. How you doing? Hey, that's a pretty snazzy looking suit. You're going to be with us some more today?
No, just for coffee, Norm. I leave my office for one day, and it just piles up.
Yeah, this piles right up.
Norm, are you all right? Are you feeling hot?
Oh, no, I'm feeling fine. I am happy, and I am excited. See, I was thinking about the script we're doing on words and meaning, and I realized that we are in pretty good shape. I mean, we have a way of talking about almost all the important dimensions of words.
Almost all?
Yep. We can talk about general and specific, abstract and concrete, connotations, denotations. We have examples, interviews, almost everything.
Something still missing?
Yep, again. Or was missing until I thought of it this morning as I was shaving.
Well, are you going to tell us what it is? Or...
I think we should just sit here and wait and see if this ticking time bomb is going to explode.
That's it! That's it! Kurt used the metaphor. He compared me to a ticking time bomb. That's the dimension of words that's missing.
You mean words that go bang?
You still don't get it, do you? I am talking about literal and figurative word meanings.
No, we still don't get it.
Okay. See, there was this guy who was working for the government for several years on this automatic language translation project using computers. But it seems that it turned out, anyway, that the computers don't have our human ability to create figures of speech or writing, such as a metaphor, comparing a creative writer to a ticking time bomb. They're so literal, it's funny.
I figure in about 30 seconds he's going to be splattered all over the walls.
Okay, get this. They asked the computer to translate "the spirit is willing, but the flesh is weak" from English to Russian and then back into English. And do you know what the computer came up with? Get this. "The wine is agreeable, but the meat is spoiled." It's funny! Well, there is an important point to be made here.
Which is?
That human writers have a lot more choices than computers do. We can choose just the right word and even be playful with our choices.
Oh, well, ladies and gentlemen, I think we are ready to make music on our electric keyboard. Norman, you can put together the summary segment.
I liked him better when he was ticking.
What's this? Insolence? We do a whole short course on words and meanings, and that is the best you can come up with?
Norman.
You're right, Norm. I can do better than that. How's this? How do I love thee? Let me compute the ways.